Yo, welcome back, guys. It's Mr. Gooby. I'm doing another Reddit stories video while playing Minecraft. Today, in my Minecraft world, I'm kind of doing this little cave project, trying to shape it into maybe I'll do a storage system, maybe, or something like that. We'll see. But sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Let's get straight into it. This is story one. I think my daughter's imaginary friend is real. I'm not exactly an expert on imaginary friends, but even I can tell you that they are supposed to be imaginary. I mean, duh, right? That's what I told myself whenever my daughter started mentioning hers, telling me about their adventures together and what fun games they'd play when my daughter got home from her school in the afternoons. It mostly included tea parties, hopscotch, and, dress up. But there were a few she told me about that kind of didn't really make any sense to me. Take hide and seek, for example. How exactly are you going to hide from someone who's not visible, let alone seek them? But like I said, I just chalked it up to her imagination running wild. And what furthermore cemented that belief was the fact that we had only just buried our dog 2 weeks ago before she started talking about this made up friend of hers. We never really told her about the accident or how I mistakenly backed over. God damn! Sorry, guys. How I mistakenly backed over her little puppy wall in a rush to get to work. We knew it would crush her to find out, so we lied. Told her that little Maxie had ran away, that we'd put up flyers, and that she'd come home soon. I think that's what caused her to create her own companion. Someone that would be by her side for as long as she let them. But who was I to judge? Who was I to crush my baby's dream after literally killing her best friend? I just let her do her own thing, all the better if it kept her from prying about what happened to Maxie. It worked for a while. Hell, part of me even wondered if she was going to miss the dog. She hasn't so much as even mentioned his name. Things started to get shaky though when I came home from work one day to find my little girl sitting alone with her tea kit spread out in front of her. She wore a cute little princess tiara and dress we got her from her Christmas last year. And it was honestly a melancholic moment. I wish I could have been there to see her all get dressed up. Her face didn't match the outfit though. She looked pissed. Emily told me Maxie isn't coming back. She snapped. She said that you lied about him running away, that he's never coming back. I was dumbstruck. I had literally just walked into the house. Honey, no, I pouted. Daddy would never lie to you about something like that. Look, come here, let me hold you. Wait. Her words finally registered. Who is Emily? You know who Emily is, you big fat beanie. She cried, scrunching her face into a little ball. She's my best friend since you took Maxie. But before I could reply, she ran off towards her bedroom, announcing, "Come on, Emily, let's go play somewhere else." To say I was shocked would be an understatement. I thought that maybe my wife had been talking to one of her friends and maybe my daughter overheard. So my first thought was to ask her. However, she flat out denied it before I could even finish my question. Yeah, she's been talking about that since she got home from school. It was bound to happen sooner or later. Don't worry. Right, because that's the part I was worried about. My daughter avoided me like the plague that night. I had seriously never felt so dead to her. Even still, I couldn't bring myself to tell her the truth. I just tucked her in, kissed her on the forehead, and switched her nightlight on like usual. Before I went to bed that night, there were a million thoughts circulating around in my mind, which most of which were about how I'd tell my daughter what really happened. I still couldn't think of the words, but I made a promise to myself that I'd tell her the next day. Unfortunately, that plan was dissolved around 3 o'clock that morning. I was awoken by my wife shaking me while screaming. Roxy's gone, she screeched. I just checked her bedroom. She's not there. I've looked the entire house. This had me jumping out of my bed before my brain could even register what was happening. Luckily for us, the search didn't last long, though. We didn't have to call the police. We didn't have to garner a search team. All we had to do was check our backyard. That's where we found her, kneeling over Maxie's grave in her pink Hello Kitty pajamas. When I saw her, all I could do was scoop her up in my arms and hold her close while I cried. To my dismay, she started actively fighting me to get away from me, screaming, kicking, clawing, and in the chaos, I saw the scourge of her anger. Maxie's grave had been dug up and the corpse laid beside it, rotten bones exposed, and the maggots had already made his body their new all you can eat buffet. Once my wife took my daughter away from my arms, she settled down enough to finally speak. All she had to say was, "Why did Emily show me and not you?" Alright, guys, I will say that story got pretty intense at the end right there. That is, yeah, her imaginary friend is definitely real. She's not imaginary. Alright, guys, hope you enjoyed that story. Let's get into story two. Alright, guys, this is going to be story two. Don't go driving late at night. It had been a long day. After 8 hours of grueling work, I'd wanted nothing more than to sit on my sofa and enjoy a relaxing night watching TV. Driving home, my head was clear, and my focus was solely on getting back safely and in a timely manner. The missus was waiting for me. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be so lucky. On the final stretch down a quiet wooded road, red and blue colors protruded the pitch black night sky. I sighed as I pulled over slowly, with the police closing in on my rickety old minivan. As the police approached, a bead of sweat dripped down my forehead. I had always been nervous around the law, and being pulled over in the dead of night never meant anything good. The officer introduced himself and hit me with the cliche line, "Do you know how fast you are going?" before asking him for my license and registration. I put on my smile and handed my information over, and he stopped for a moment. Peering suspiciously in my direction, he looked around and, with no cars in sight, asked me what I was doing out on this deserted road at this time of night. I politely responded, stating I was just heading home after a long day's of work. His eyes narrowed suspiciously and told me it wasn't safe to drive these roads late at night. He leaned in and, with a concerned look on his face, he told me that there was a recent report of a group of people faking gruesome injuries to get drivers to stop. And as soon as they exited the vehicle, they would be attacked. Luckily, the man just barely got away, but not without a critical stab injury to his leg. Bewildered, I thanked the officer and promised to keep an extra careful watch on the roads the rest of the way home. The officer smiled and told me that he had just ran my plate and then I could be on my way. I quickly responded to him telling him to do whatever he needed to do, but I did mention that my wife and I would be taking our new boat out on this lake this weekend, and since he was so nice, I invited him to tag along. With this, the officer responded with a goofy grin and told me he'd appreciate my offer. After that, he told me just to get out of here and stay safe on the rest of my drive back. He drove off without another word. As the officer's car faded into the distance, I let out a sigh of relief. I opened the center console where a large hunting knife was stored, still dripping with crimson blood. My right eye twitched in frustration as I thought back to how close I was to finishing the kill on that lucky man just hours before. I finished driving 3 miles down the road before pulling off to the side once again and putting my car in park. I made my way to the back of the car, opened the rear door, revealing the dead body of a woman covered in stab wounds. She hadn't been so lucky. One for two. Could have been worse, I muttered, before disposing of the body. My pre dug hole was 6 feet deep. As I drove home in my new car, I couldn't help but smile at how easy life had been after escaping the insane asylum just a week ago. It's surprising how far a fake smile and good acting can take you. Wow, that was a twist. I was not expecting that. Wow, that's that's crazy. All right, on to story three, I guess. All right, this is story three. I think my sister is gone. I think whatever came back from that road trip isn't her. I need to write this out because I've been carrying it alone for 3 weeks and it's starting to feel like a weight I can't hold anymore. My sister's name is Maria. She's 29. She's been my best friend since I was old enough to understand what that meant. We have the same laugh, the same habit of narrating our own lives out loud when we're alone, the same fear of being in water we can't see the bottom of. I tell you this because I need you to understand. I know her. I have always known her. She left for the road trip on Tuesday. Just her and her boyfriend, Caleb. 2 weeks, no fixed itinerary. They were going to drive down south through the desert, through New Mexico, and into Texas. Camp where they felt like it, turn around when the trip felt done. Maria had been saving up for it all year. She texted me every other day, sent voice memos when she was too tired to type. One voice memo was just 12 seconds long of her laughing about something Caleb had said, not even bothering to explain it, just wanting me to hear her that she was happy. The last text I got from her was on day 10. It said, "Weird night, tell you when I'm home, love you." I asked what she meant, but she didn't reply. She got home 4 days later. I don't know how to say this without sounding like I've lost it, so I'm just going to say it. The person who walked off that elevator and hugged me in the hallway was not my sister. I know that sounds insane. She looks like Maria. She sounds like Maria. She knew things that only Maria would know. The nickname for our grandmother's cat, a stupid argument we had in 2019, the exact way I take my coffee. When I hugged her, she smelled like Maria's shampoo. That rosemary thing she always buy it at the co-op. But there was something wrong with the timing. That's the only way I know how to describe it. Like when you are watching a video, but the audio is off by half a second. You can't always point to a specific moment, but your brain knows something was half a second off or something. A beat too late before she smiled. A fraction too long before she answered a question she should have answered immediately. Like there was a pause happening before her eyes that I wasn't supposed to see. I tried telling myself I was projecting. She'd been through something, the weird night text, whatever happened out there. She was processing, give her time. The thing with Caleb happened the second week she was home. He called me. That alone was strange. Caleb and I are close enough, but he's not a call me out of nowhere person. He said he wanted to ask me something, and his voice was careful in a way that made me sit down. He said, "Has Maria seemed different to you since we got back?" I didn't answer right away. He kept talking into my silence. He said that there had been a night in the desert. He wouldn't tell me exactly what happened, just that they'd gotten turned around on the road that wasn't on any map. That Maria had gotten out of the car for some reason and he couldn't explain and been gone for almost 40 minutes. And when she came back, she said she was fine, but something in the way that she said it made him not ask any more questions. He said since they'd been home, he kept finding her awake in the middle of the night, standing in the living room with the lights off, just standing there. He asked what she was doing. She said she couldn't sleep. She was always calm. That was the thing he kept going back to. She's so calm. She used to worry about everything, he said. You know that. She worried the way other people breathe. Now nothing bothers her. Nothing. I know that sounds like a good thing, but it isn't. It doesn't feel like she's gotten better. It feels like something that used to be there just got turned off. I didn't sleep that night. We sat in the kitchen and she made tea the way she always has. She asked me about my job, my apartment, whether I was still seeing that guy from the gym, all the right questions. She laughed at the right moments. But at one point, I mentioned our dad something small. Just a memory, and there was that pause again. That half second behind her eyes. Then she smiled and said, "Yeah, I miss him too. Our dad is alive. He lives 40 minutes away. I had dinner with him the week before." I almost said something. I watched her face look for a crack, a tell, anything. There was nothing. She picked up her mug and took a sip and waited for me to keep on talking to her. And I kept talking because I didn't know what else to do. I've been going over every text she sent me, trying to find her in them. I've been listening to that last voice memo, the one with the laughing on repeat. 12 seconds of my sister so happy she can't even get the words out. I don't know what was on that road in the desert. Don't know what happened during those 40 minutes. I just know that when I hugged her goodbye at the door, she held on longer than she needed to. And when I pulled back and looked at her in the face, she was looking at me with an expression I had never seen before. Patient, still, like she had all the time in the world, like she was waiting for something. I'm going back to see her tomorrow. I don't know what I'm looking for exactly. I think I'm hoping she'll do something that proves me wrong, that she'll laugh at the wrong moment, or worry about something that she used to, or slip up somehow. Just be her, my sister, the one who sent me voice memos, the one who sent me voice memos over laughing at nothing. I'm going to update when I can. Edit. Caleb called me last night. He said she was asking about me, not about how I was doing, about my schedule, when I'm usually home, whether I live alone. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I'll update when I can. And that is the end of the story. Wow, that is. Yeah, that's not her sister. No way. That is terrifying. If my sister ever came back from a road trip and act like that, I would genuinely be so scared. Alright, this is going to be story 4. I walk my neighbor's dog every Friday night. He left me rules. I thought it would be easy money, 20 bucks. 30-minute walk, same route every Friday. The dog's name was Milo. Old golden retriever, quiet, friendly. My neighbor, Mr. Vale, was strange. Though always tired, always looking over his shoulder, and his house smelled faintly like wet dirt after rain. Last Friday, he opened the door, holding Milo's leash and a folded piece of paper. He looked nervous. Not normal nervous, the kind of nervous people have before storms. Please, he said quietly, read the rules before midnight. I laughed a little. He didn't. Then he closed the door before I could ask any questions. I unfolded the paper while Milo stared at me silently. Rules for walking Milo. Never let him walk behind you for more than 10 seconds. If Milo stops and stares at a dark window, do not look inside. Avoid Maple Street after 11:13 p.m. If someone calls Milo by another name, keep walking. If Milo begins growling at an empty area, apologize quietly and leave. Do not remove the red collar under any circumstances. If Milo suddenly refuses to move, count to 15 before touching it. If you hear footsteps matching yours exactly, do not stop walking. If Milo starts walking home instead of the normal route, let him. If you return and Mr. Vale is already waiting outside, do not mention what followed you. Underneath the rules, written in shaky handwriting, he's a good dog. He just attracts attention. I should have gone home immediately. Instead, I clipped the leash on, Milo wagged his tail once, and we started walking. Everything felt normal at first. Cold air, empty sidewalks. Milo sniffed trees while I scrolled through my phone. Then he stopped, completely still. He was staring at a dark living room window across the street. Rule 2. I remembered it silently. I kept my eyes down, but something moved behind the glass. Tall. Wrong. Its head touched the ceiling fan. I walked faster. Milo followed immediately. Good dog. At exactly 11:13 p.m., we reached the corner of Maple Street. Milo whimpered, not barked, whimpered. That deep, terrified sounds animals make before earthquakes. Then I hear it, a voice behind me. Bailey. Milo froze. I looked at the paper again. If someone calls Milo by another name, keep walking. The voice came again, closer this time. Bailey, come here. Milo pressed against my leg. I kept walking. My heartbeat felt wrong. Too loud. Then the footsteps started, exactly matching mine. Left, right, left, right. Not behind me. Beside me. I remember rule 8, do not stop walking. So I didn't. Even when the breathing started, even when Milo refused to look at my right, even when something whispered, he remembers me. 3 blocks later, Milo suddenly changed directions. Not toward home, toward the woods behind the neighborhood. Rule 9. If Milo starts walking you home instead of Domaru, let him. I followed. The footsteps followed too. Slowly, patient. The woods were completely silent. No insects, no wind, nothing. Then Milo stopped moving. Rule 7. Count to 15 before touching him. I counted. At 12, something walked between the trees behind us. Too tall, bent sideways, like its bones had been folded incorrectly. At 14, it whispered, wrong dog. At 15, Milo barked. For the first time all night, the thing ran, not away, around us, fast, circling, branches snapping everywhere at once. Milo growled so deeply I felt it in my chest. Then suddenly, silence. Complete silence. Milo calmly turned around and then started walking home like nothing happened. When we reached Mr. Vale's house, he was already outside waiting. Rule 10. Do not mention what followed you. He looked exhausted. His eyes immediately moved past me, checking the darkness behind the street. Then he nodded slowly. You kept walking, he whispered. I didn't answer. He took Milo's leash carefully, like he was handling something fragile. Before going inside, he stopped. Then he said quietly, most people walk into the windows. The door closed, the, the porch light turned off, and I noticed something that still keeps me awake at night. Milo's red collar had scratches on it, deep ones, like fingernails, and underneath them, I swear there was another name written beneath Milo. Not Bailey, something older, something almost scratched away. Wow. Uh, that is. Yeah, I'm not walking that dog. No, I'm not walking that dog. No, thank you. Oh boy, that is. I think I'd be dead. I think I would probably be dead. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed all the stories. Um, I did mess up here and there a little bit, but I really do enjoy reading all these stories and making these videos. I have a lot of fun doing them, and I hope you guys liked how the my little Minecraft build turned out. I think it looks pretty good so far. I'm not quite done yet, but I think in the next video I'll probably wrap it up or something like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.